Hey, it's me. Hi. I have something to talk about today, and it has nothing to do with Starfield. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. So I'm recording this on the 30th, a few hours, maybe an hour after it was announced that Sony is going to be increasing the price of PlayStation Plus across the board. It is now a minimum of $80 a year to access your own games online. That's fun. That's definitely what you should be doing to keep people in your good graces. And I know I have a bit of a reputation now for being the guy that dumps on PlayStation fanboys and the guy that dumps on PlayStation players. I don't mean for that to be my ultimate, reputation, but it's what pays the bills. It gets the chuckles. I don't want to give off the impression that I'm just like this big anti-PlayStation guy, because a lot of PlayStation games are a big part of my childhood, of my early gaming days. I was born in 97. Like many of you, I often had my friend's PS2 controller covered in Cheeto dust in my hands, and it was a good time. The reason I poked Sony so much, and the reason I poke so much fun at their complacent community, is because of how much this studio and this publisher is capable of, and they're just choosing not to do good things a lot of the time. Granted, it's because they're the market leader, and you basically can always expect the market leader to get at least a little bit complacent. It's not like market complacency is a problem unique to Sony, but I also can't be the only one who couldn't help but notice over the last 12 months or so, Sony has been kind of terrible. And I honestly can't figure out why. Because we had the whole Jim Ryan absolutely butchering the Activision Blizzard thing. I mean, Jim Ryan pretty much single-handedly destroyed the reputation of PlayStation in the current gaming economy. I don't want to talk too much about that because everyone's done enough talking about that for the next 10 years. But, long story short, Jim Ryan raises a stink and wastes so much taxpayer money for months on end, throws his developers under the bus, throws his fans under the bus, says like, our first-party PlayStation studios, those aren't what keep people here. It's Call of Duty. Call of Duty isn't on the PlayStation anymore. We'll never recover from this. Which, if you're a developer at Sony, wow, you probably couldn't help but feel slapped in the face by that. And then all of that just to eventually take the exact same deal that you were offered in the first place. It was just such a waste of time, and it was just such a fucking drama vacuum. And it did what I think is pretty irreparable damage to the reputation of Jim Ryan as a studio head, but, I digress. I mean, it's not like the nonsense that PlayStation's been up to stopped there. Again, they recently increased the price of PlayStation Plus, and they announced this, a week, 2 weeks after the fucking, I don't even remember what it's called, the not PSP? I'm just gonna call it the not PSP, because I don't even feel like Googling what it's actually called. This stupid PS5 handheld streaming thing? Why didn't you just make a PSP? Who is this product for? A companion piece that's a couple $100, and there's a whole bunch of added restrictions to it that just make it even less useful than just a handheld PS5 streaming device? Seriously, who is this for? Who is this thing for? So there's that. There's the insistence on releasing $70 games with absolute trash heap performance. I know that, Xbox has been getting, the real blunt of people's anger when it comes to 9th gen console game performance because of Redfield? The hell? Because of Redfall, because of Starfield, the whole 30 FPS debacle. But it's really not like PlayStation's $70 AAA offerings are much better. Final Fantasy 16 ran like complete garbage. Everyone basically just swept Forspoken under the rug, and I can't blame you for that, because that ran like complete fucking garbage. Judging by early reports, Spider-Man 2 is also going to be running like garbage. And on top of all of this, they are absolutely refusing to tell anyone what comes next. I mentioned this in a recent video, but genuinely, what's coming after Spider-Man 2? What are you going, okay, you're raising the price of PlayStation Plus, you're putting out overpriced, underfeatured, completely pointless companion pieces, whatever. You're the market leader, you're gonna get complacent, what are you giving us? If this is the downside, what's the positive? And they've got nothing. They're not saying anything. There's been 1.5 million rumors about a God of War Ragnarok expansion, which, if you're a fan of Ragnarok, that's probably good news. But they sure don't want to tell you about that, which is odd, because Ragnarok, I believe, was their fastest selling first-party game ever. So a little strange that they don't want to tell you what they're doing with that IP. Naughty Dog seems to be getting paid the big bucks to just sit in the office and piss on themselves because we still have no clue where the Last of Us multiplayer game is. And that was also after Sony greenlit a full-priced remake of the original Last of Us game without the features of the original Last of Us game, which I would imagine someone should have raised their hand and been like, isn't that kind of a hard sell? To which Jim Ryan probably just like sliced their hand off and threw it out the window and then was like, no, we can make it an even harder sell. Release the PC version unfinished. Like, I just want to know, I just want to know where they're keeping the, where'd you get that audacity, son? Come over, where are your parents? Did they give you that audacity? Where'd you get it? Like genuinely, what is going on at PlayStation? What's going on? I don't understand. And after all of the Starfield videos that I've been making, of all the PlayStation fanboys I've been laughing at, I kind of just want to extend an olive branch right now, because I would be frustrated too. If this was the platform that I committed to, and this was the company that I was a really big fan of, that owned all the IPs that I was really invested in, I would also be kind of pissed off, because really, what are you getting right now? They're charging you so much money, and they're not doing anything with it. And also, just side note, I said it in a tweet the other day, but it absolutely amazes me how Sony will throw money at anything except a Bloodborne PC port. Truly. Where is the PC or PS5 version of Bloodborne? In before, From Software spaghetti code. If the fan base can mod in 60 FPS, Sony can pay somebody to make an official port. They are simply choosing not to do. I feel like I come back to Bloodborne PC every few weeks, but I can't say this enough. Elden Ring sold over 10 million copies on PC in its first week. Revenant 2 was at the top of Steam during its release window. Every single new Soulsborne game, it sells fucking gangbusters on the PC. Genuinely, what are you waiting for to put Bloodborne over here? Or Demon Souls? Bloodborne and Demon Souls would be at the top of Steam in an instant. Genuinely, what are you waiting for? Like, oh no, sorry guys, we have other more important PC ports to do first, like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Sackboy, and Uncharted 4, not 1 through 3, just 4. You know, I don't want to put all of the blame on Jim Ryan, the same way that I don't think it's fair to put, you know, every single thing that goes wrong with Xbox, I don't think it's fair to put that on Phil Spencer, the same way that I don't think it's fair to put every single thing wrong with PlayStation on Jim Ryan. You know, these are big companies, it's not one person making all the decisions all the time. But I really can't help but notice how many flippin' dumb things are going on with PlayStation this year. And I don't understand where this audacity is coming from. I don't understand where this confidence is coming from. Again, when you're the market leader, you're going to get complacent, you're going to get overconfident, you're going to kind of take advantage of your user base. And I don't mean like, oh, they're taking advantage of you. Like, no, you have a giant user base and you're going to take advantage of that. You're a business, that's what you do. If you have a gigantic user base and you're confident that they will pay a few extra dollars a month, or you're confident that they'll shell out a couple $100, or there'll be a few thousand of them to shell out a couple $100 for this weird handheld thing, go ahead and do that. But like, you gotta give them something, you know? You gotta give the PlayStation guys something, and that's just not happening right now, and I don't understand it. What is there to get excited about after Spider-Man 2? Not what are you speculating will come after Spider-Man 2, what actually do you have after Spider-Man 2? And also, when it comes to what you're getting, what you're confirmed to be getting, or what you have been getting, why has it been so technically fucking garbage? Like, really, the only first-party PlayStation game, the only like big exclusive PlayStation game that I think has been like technically sound is Demon Souls. And that's not me trying to sound like a fucking Soulsborne fanboy over here, but like, Demon Souls ran phenomenally. I think Demon Souls was an excellent representation of what the PS5 is capable of. So why isn't every other first-party game running that well? Why was Forspoken pushed out the door the way it was? Why was Final Fantasy 15 pushed out the door the way it was? Or I guess Final Fantasy 16. I forget what number they're on. I don't play that series. I'm sorry. Why is Spider-Man 2, the big hyped game of 2023, the game that's supposed to make it all worth it, why is that game capping you at 30 frames per second for the good graphics mode? Just like, that one I can't understand. That one I truly cannot understand. Spider-Man 2, this is the big PlayStation exclusive for 2023, and you can't even guarantee 60 frames? Are you kidding me? Genuinely, what did you buy a new console for? This really is feeling like a repeat of the early PS3 days. And I guess, I know I said this isn't, the market complacency isn't an exclusively, isn't exclusively a Sony problem, but this really is a repeat of the early PS3 years. The PlayStation 2 was a giant success. It ran away with the flag, it destroyed the competition, and so Sony got incredibly complacent with the PS3. And we're seeing the exact same thing here. The PlayStation 4 completely destroyed the competition, ran away with the flag, and now here we are. PlayStation 5, you guys are just getting fucking shit on. Every month, it seems. PlayStation needs to turn it around. They seriously need to turn it around. Because as much as I've talked about over the years, Sony's an asshole, they're doing all these asshole things, I've never been convinced that people were actually going to leave the platform in droves until recently. When you're losing people like fucking Red Dragon and fucking Pio, something is wrong. They got away with spitting in the face of their consumers for years on end, basically because Microsoft had no fucking clue what they were doing and they had no idea how to actually compete. But now that Xbox actually is competing, it's really highlighting how little Sony is giving you in return for shitting in your mouth every week. And unless they figure something out soon, I think you're gonna see a lot of people drop PlayStation and just jump over to PC or jump over to Xbox, or they'll just say, fuck it, I'll go get an Xbox, I'll play my multi-plat games on Xbox, or I'll play my multi-plat games on PC, and I'll only break out the PS5 when an exclusive comes out, maybe. Because why would you keep putting up with this if there's other options? Anyways, thanks for watching the videos and subbing to the channel recently. It's been really cool to see how many people are watching. Yeah, I'm gonna get back to making more non-Starfield content in the near future. Gotta milk it while I can, Yeah. Okay, toodles.